So then let me introduce Ryan van Winkle to you all. Ryan van Winkle is an author, artist, and producer based in Edinburgh. His second collection, The Good Dark, won the Saltire Society's 2015 Poetry Book of the Year award. He's currently writer-in-residence at the University of Edinburgh and the school's writer-in-residence for the Citizen Project at the Edinburgh International Book Festival. His poems have appeared in the American Poetry Review, Modern Poetry in Translation, and New Writing Scotland. He was awarded the Jessie Casson Fellowship at Moniac Moore in 2018. And of course, follows a little reflection of my own. And the first thing I noticed about your poems, Ryan, is the fun they're having. And it's all a kind of small, it's in small things. For instance, I found a poem where the title is Untitled and then between brackets Snoopy, which I think is like really cool, or a play on being in the woods in the poem The Duke in Pines. And often it's a kind of fun that's hard to pin down because it can turn serious and poetic in an instant. Like for instance, in the poem I Do Not Want Rain for Rain, where kind of a brotherly fight becomes the lines, I wasn't always old and stupid and mean. I was born innocent, but the sun made me brutal, which I think is gorgeous. And these poems are also rooted in nature. They talk about sea and forest and snow, but always they bring in another layer of meaning, as in the lines, I return to snow like a salmon, and like a salmon I know the agony of arriving. So there's always something extra coming along with it, I think. And sometimes a poem will zoom in on one thing and paint a whole life in just a line or two, like in the poem One Year the Door Will Open, where it says, door, you have been painted many things, argument red, family yellow, divorce brown. I too have been locked and pushed shut. And I will, I think, never look at those colors the same again. So it makes for an interesting body of work that, like this proverbial salmon, always slips from your hands and changes into something else, glittery and colorful and laughing as it escapes from your grasp once more by the slip of its tail. And Ryan, of course, I have the same question for you about 2022, the poetic highlight or the poetic quality of this year for you.
Thank you. That was, I don't know if people can tell, but I'm very much blushing. Thank you for that superb introduction. Very sweet of you. And thank you for the close reading. Yeah, really lovely. Sorry, I'm just a little flustered. Poetic highlight. Gosh. I guess the one I was thinking of when you first asked that is I got to see Ocean Vuong read from this lovely collection. You probably have heard of Ocean's work, Time as a Mother. In addition to his tremendous reading, he was in conversation with a friend, Alicia Peer Muhammad, who's a great poet as well. And they had a brilliant conversation, and it reminded me of how special and lovely and immense and giving and generous this community of poets is. And so it was really nice to hear that and be in a large room and feel that amongst all the people. So that was kind of one of my big highlights that I took away from last year. And I also enjoyed at the very end of the year, the New York Times put out an article saying something like poetry is dead. And I really enjoyed Poetry Twitter's discourse on that. So that was pretty fun. That came out on the 29th of December.
I have to look that up. That escaped me. I didn't know that poetry was dead. No one told me. Here I am hosting a poetry
Go home,
event.
everybody. Wait, we are home.
Oh, then it's okay. Well, great highlights. Thanks.
No, thank you. And yeah, thank you all for coming out and joining this Zoom call. It's really nice. Gosh, what Sam did was a fantastic reading. And also I'm really jealous of his idea of just sharing. Did people enjoy this, the looking at the poems? I don't know how I can get a sense of that. Yes? No? I can't tell. Can't tell. There's not a lot of movement. I got a thumbs. I see 2 thumbs up. All right, then I'm going to share my screen. Great. Let's see if I can do that without embarrassing myself. Let's see. Here it is. Untitled 2. Okay, so the poems I'll be reading from tonight are kind of from a new manuscript I've been working on, thinking about photography and photographs. And I guess one of the things I keep coming back to is like, what do you miss when you're taking a picture, when you're clicking away. I've definitely had times in my life that I've been very obsessed with taking photographs and holding on to them and collecting them. And I've gone through them. And I tried to get them out today to just be like, look how many photos I have, people. And then I realized they're all buried under, I don't know, board games and a bunch of other stuff I don't use. So anyways, that's kind of the theme of the reading. And we'll start here with just a poem called His World. A hunter, he lay low, sometimes right on the cold pavement, puddles wrinkling his knees as he waited for the moment to cross his field. His camera was starving for a docile blink. Before he lost his vision, he admitted, like his child's first steps, first words, once you miss it, it is gone forever. All those stubborn trees throwing shadows across the frame. And I will zoom back to 1988 when I used to collect crabs on the beach by getting a clothes. People do this. This is a common thing, right? You get a clothespin, you put a little mussel in there, you drop it down, boom, you got a crab. You could sell them for a penny over at Bud's Fish Market. So I'd get about 25 cents from a day's work. Bucket of crabs, 1988. Only yesterday I lured crabs to a bucket, wet pink fingers lowering strawberry and cream mussels between the breakers. My grandfather alive on the shore, maybe proud of all those legs scrabbling against the side of the pail, that distant, desperate sound, like whatever is in me today, 1,000 little clocks trying to scratch their way out. And this is one about my little brother in the emergency room. In the ER with little brother, 84. Everyone had a bandage. The old woman with purple splashed across her face. The freckled boy, a pocket of skin ready to burst. My brother in a wheelchair, his knee mummied in white, his emergency mouth gurgling, spitting down the side of his leg. I was the stronger one, the bigger boy. I knew the potholes in the street, dark abandoned wells on the edge of our land, clean windows which looked like the way out, till you ran too fast and mashed your nose on solid glass. When they call my brother's name, I hear mine by mistake. The mouth on his knee says, I never listen. I should have been paying attention. He was a child I let wander into parts of the world where he could only fall. I watch his wounds get rinsed saline clean. I have taken my eyes off many things, have thrown them into trees so I could see beyond our home. But the mouth begs me to stay, to look, so I may be reminded one day by the scar he bears. This next poem is kind of a weird one. I don't know if you're familiar with John Baldessari, but I really like his dot pictures. Do you know his dot photos? These guys. Do you ever see these? So he just went through some photographs and he put dots on them. So which I found very fun and playful and resonant, and so I kind of wrote a poem with the idea of like, what if you go through your family album and put dots on all the faces or dots over the photographs. So this is called Family Album, College of Art, 2008. Open the pack of stickers, hundreds of bright spots, some muted and warm, some diner neon. Place a periwinkle on mom's face, a sunny dot over the pool. A tree dot blots the 80s. Voltron has gone, as Gipper has gone, and Gran, her bruised memory of Connie Vincent at the bowl. All sorts of saturated stars, different colors to wear and take off. I see Amber stuck to a Jell-O supper when I call home and the lines don't connect, I say to myself, we all grew up different. Granddad sat at a typewriter, waited for letters, a phone call, nothing urgent, pounded glass to beat out the static from a black and white TV. Tubes gone, as phone books are gone, as mom smoothed the red dot over first husband, over what she couldn't understand, say, or see anymore. A red dot who took a leafy corner hard on the wet road to the fun fair and wrecked his skull. Red dot stuck to the taste of greasy lake, the taste of funnel cake, stuck to that shock of electricity when you're forced to sit and can only smell spun sugar and butter hanging frazzled in the carnival dusk. And then kind of going along on the lines of what do you miss when you're taking a photograph? And you know, you always take photograph. I always took photographs on vacations or holidays with people, and you find sometimes you're not really paying attention to them, and maybe you should be, or maybe I should speak for myself and say I should be. A poem so personal, I put it in the third person. How to Take a Holiday, Key West, 2007. He was anxious, surrounded by new sounds, breaking toothpicks and piling them on their table. He watched shapes repeat and light laying prone and seductive, sought people he might speak to who passed on, indifferent as ghosts on some other haunting, and his finger staked on the click, eye inside a cell, thumb about to roll forward. His love's drink almost done, her sentence, purple umbrella, her thought, whatever weather she was having, if she was raining or snowing, it was passing, blowing over. He missed it. It was gone. This poem contains a joke, my favorite joke. For this one moment, somebody can unmute if they want to ask me if I am a truck. Would anybody like to ask me if I am a truck? Unmute yourself and ask me if I am a truck. Anyone?
No one takes the bait, I will. Are you a truck?
No. That's it. Yeah. So I'm cracking myself. I'm the only one who enjoyed that. So here we go. From a motel window, Vermont. Some people mean a lot to me. I do not think these people know they are missed. I do not think the bench is lonely. I do not think the truck knows where it is going, what bees mean to us, the provenance of gold raspberries, shades of green, all different, all named. Ask me if I am a truck. A truck does not expect a smile at the destination, does not expect one simple jonquil slid between its grill. I am not a truck. The truck means a lot to me. I do not think I appreciate the truck. I forget to send thank you notes, cards for her kids. I don't buy around often enough. One thing life has taught me is you can't go around thanking trucks all the time, getting closer to people. Let's just agree. The road runs only one way, and we can't return to thank the rain for green fields, can't kiss back the bees burdened with pollen, stuck in the dirt, the towering grass. And this is a photo of my first loving house. Actually, yeah, I guess I just photo of my first loving house, 1977. Source of bird feathers, string, dad's old t-shirts, ragged fragments of sharp glass and sea glass. Imagine walking through all those lost rooms, that toolbox warm behind the boiler, the fragrant nook of a cedar closet, stored fur. It would be interesting to find my old cassettes, to hear what I took from the radio, to listen again to Sinatra pouring batter over griddle. Only my first loving house loved me so hard it left scars on my knee and eyebrow. The source of crust cutting, of blueberries and cream, of night dropping, gossiping mailboxes, smooth glass, tumbled and ground, lights coming on, going out, windows closed firm. And here's a short one about the shoreline, kind of. Whenever I lose my wallet, I find religion. Shoreline, 1999. I used to think the sea was my past, but I wake to it every morning. I check my pocket and worry when it feels pale and empty, as if I could leave the sea, forget it on a bar stool or a gas pump, as if the tide might go out for a smoke and forget to come back. And this will be the last one. Thank you all for listening. And it's called Towards an Understanding. He thought he could shoot it all, so that one day there would be a tidy row of albums, a line that made sense. When he leaned back, he saw a museum of faces, distant masks of dead people splayed across the living room floor, dust frozen in light. So many delicate specks, like shaved ice melting in the middle of a still day on the glass of Lake Champlain. Thanks, everybody. And I will stop sharing now.